Just realized that was probably an echoey mess for all you guys. I forgot to disable one sound source. So sorry if that intro was awful echoey and muddy. Generally, I remember to do that, but sometimes I forget. The reason I forgot today was I just did a hi, Gypsy, over in Twitch. Good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in and keeping an eye on things over there. I was recording a podcast not too long ago. Podcast episode with a wonderful gentleman named Michael Freeman. As a matter of fact, he is the son of Paul Freeman of the Freeman footage, and so I interviewed Michael today, and we had a good talk. He's an exceptional guy himself, and of course his dad is one of those iconic figures in the Bigfoot world. So that'll be coming up this next Monday. I hope you guys will tune in for that on the podcast episodes. Again, every once in a while, I like to illuminate this. A lot of people on their YouTube channel say, "Hey, welcome to our podcast." But just to differentiate, the YouTube channel generally, I mean, I host the podcasts on there as audio or audio and video, but they definitely say podcast episodes. This is just the live streams. This is kind of our I don't know, paranormal variety show, just our community shows that we do 3 times a week, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're tuning in, that's what you're watching. This really isn't the podcast. This is just another version of the show that I do. Same name, Paranormal Portal, but whole different experience. Generally on the podcasts, I interview experiencers, or I interview authors or researchers, or who else do I interview? I guess, or I just put together shows. Sometimes I feature the shows about listener emails that you guys have sent me, telling me your experiences, those people that would rather not be on the show, but they'd like to write in and say what they've experienced. However, my organizational skills for that is incredibly disorganized. So I have stories kind of all over the place, and I'm trying to go back in there and clean it up and figure out what I've used, what I haven't, and put together another show. But it's just another thing on the pile of things that are on my to-do list. And I don't know when I'm going to get to do it. So anyway, but welcome to the show, whatever the case. I'm just really glad you guys are all here. That's wonderful. I see Gypsy was saying, she's just greeting everybody in Twitch. Thank you, Gypsy, for doing that. Appreciate that. Hello, Android. Hello, Annie. Hello, Wizard. Hello, John. Stevenson. Hello, Eric Fry. Annie again. Just looking at the names. Maggie's here. I know Rachel's here. John Stevenson. Who else? Wizard Moon. Yep, Wizard's here. Kirsten Leah's here. Good to see you, Kirsten. Hope your guys are doing good. John Temprin, of course, is here. And I'm just going through the list. Isaac is here. Good to see you, brother. And Marstall I'm just looking at the names as they roll by. Of course, Lucky Gypsy's over in Twitch, as I said, and she's probably here too, but she's over there as well. And Owl is here. Good to see Owl, formerly Grumpy Owl. But you'll see Owl's work in a bit when we do the Cryptid Corner, because when you see the transition screen to that, that is Owl's work. That's beautiful stuff. Over in the big green rumble machine, we got Justin Goodearth, Barbara Mora, HB Girl to Use over there. Haven't seen Taipan yet tonight, but maybe I'll stop in. And of course, any of you over on Rumble, thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to chat. Wonderful communities everywhere that we're broadcasting. We have just an incredible group of people. And as Kirsten says, don't forget to like. Definitely please like the streams, because it does really help to promote the shows to the algorithms, because these are not people. They just do math, and they look at how many people watched, how engaged were they, either with clicking likes or comments or some, with chatting and things like that. So at least if you could, please like the streams, because that'll tell the algorithm, hey, people are involved. Let's promote this. So it does indeed help. 11 for me. 11 what? 11 what? I don't know. Maybe it was likes. I don't know. But it's good to see you all. Thank you so much for being here. Sheldon will be along shortly. He's going to get here as quickly as he can. But until then, it's you and me. So, of course, we're going to be getting to the news here pretty soon. I got a few articles pulled up. And then I've got a really cool article pulled up that I'm going to get into after the news. It kind of is playing on the whole recent report or theory that was released from I forget where the guy's from. Was it Harvard? Professor, along with a gentleman from the Montana universities working in conjunction, said they believed aliens might be here and living among us. And maybe they've been here for a very, very long time. And I kind of believe that, I guess, really, because, could they all be shooting from some distant star or distant universe or something else? Or do you think they just made a big excursion and they're just kicking back watching? And I'm thinking they're probably here. That'd be a hell of a long drive. It's like me going to Disney World in Florida for, a weekend and then driving home. It's like, yeah, I don't know. That's probably not a good investment of your time. So I think they're here. Yeah, Sheldon Thomas. Yeah, he's coming. Sheldon will be here, Eric. But yeah, maybe it's a multiverse. You're right. That could be any. I certainly believe in the multiverse as well. I believe in dimensions, the multiverse, I don't know what else I was going to say, but there was a third version of that in my mind, but I lost it since then. Since I thought of it. My cat groaned as she got comfortable on my lap, and I need to get up for more food. Yeah, that's a tough place to be, Android. Those cats rule our world. And they're happy to do it, too. They just have no problem. Yes, we're all aliens. We are all aliens somewhere. You're right, John. But is it possible they're here? Well, I got another article that says that not only is there aliens here, but there's several different kinds. So we'll get into that, and then we'll get into the cryptids and anything else. I don't know. The thing with these live streams is there's never a concrete path. I have a guideline set up of things that I maybe will cover. Oftentimes we don't get to all of it, and sometimes not even a lot of it, just because we have group discussions about things, and that's fine. This is kind of a free form show. So if you're new, that's what you can expect. Aliens are in the attics. That's probably where they live, John. Maybe it's some of the ghost experiences people have. Maybe they can just become invisible and yet want people to get the hell away from where they're living, so they do ghostly stuff. You ever think of that? Ooh. I'm thinking that's probably part of it. Because, in my own experience, they weren't visible with the naked eye. The craft was not visible with my naked eye. I had to use night vision, which by some fortuitous course of chance, I happen to have. It is just such a bizarre thing. When the weird stuff happens, this is something that still, hi, Julie, good to see you. Jules Blacktree's in the house. Good to see you. Happy full moon. Isn't this the strawberry moon or something tonight? Something like that. Something like that. Strawberry moon, something. Anyway, the beauty of the warm months here in the U.S. is that we'll be able to see the moonrise, even if you are here for the show, unless maybe you're on the East Coast. I don't know. Maybe it'll probably not on the East Coast, but over here on the West Coast region, we got plenty of daylight left. So it's still bright daylight sunny outside here, if you can believe that. And will be for probably 3 more hours, or at least 2.5 hours. Okay, so strawberry cheesecake moon. Now you're making me hungry, Maggie. That's not even nice. I'm on a diet, so that doesn't help. Strawberry wine, yeah, that's another thing. It probably isn't good for me. Is it strawberry? Yeah, I think it's strawberry moon or something. Isn't that what they call it? The strawberry moon, full moon. I don't know. Happy full strawberry moon. Wizard says, yeah. I think that's what they're calling it. I don't know. I mean, they come up with new names for stuff all the time. But anyway, let's get to it. They are here. They are here. Justin says, the aliens. I think they are. I think they are too. And I think they can look just like us. They can. Well, I don't think they act just like us, though. I think they're a little awkward. They're not quite human in their behaviors. But then again, I've met a lot of people that aren't quite human, that probably are actually human, but they just don't act very human. So maybe it's hard to differentiate. But anyway, we'll get to that after the news and before the Cryptid Corner. So, well, I guess it's about time for some news. I hope you guys are ready to get informed and get informed and updated on the happenings in the world. I'll serve up the course of information that I have prepared for you. It's like a buffet of fun right here in the portal. Every part of the show is just another course. This was the hors d'oeuvres. So it's supposed to whet your appetite for more. How'd I do? Hit the like if I did really good. All right, let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the news. What's for dinner? A full helping of the strange and unusual, Julie. That's what we serve here fresh every show. So let's get to the news and find out just what the hell's next, because honestly, I don't remember what I pulled up, but we'll find out together. Here we go. Sheldon's coming, Jess. Sheldon's coming. Damn right, John. The only news I trust, John says. God bless you, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen. John Temperin had a couple of Greek euros. Now you're making me more hungry. You guys are just not helping. Oh, yeah, Ghost Radar. Thank you, Deb. Deborah Neighbors, thank you for the reminder. What the hell's the date? 21st, right? I got to set this up. Thank you. I remembered to pull up the program. June 21, 2024. All right, the Ghost Radar is now going. It's like the Paranormal Portal News Desk version of Doppler radar, except we're tracking all the weirdness. Or at least as much weirdness as the Ghost Radar can pick up, so we'll keep an eye on that. You know, maybe there's some of those blips we see are the aliens checking in on me. Maybe they're following me after I saw their craft and they're like, better keep an eye on this guy. You never know. Maybe they're not ghosts at all. Just saying. Food for thought. Hello, ghost, Julie says. Oh, if they answer, Julie, let me know. And maybe they will. To our unseen audience, which is here in the studio. Welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news. I'm your anchor, Brent Thomas, and we're going to get into some news here. So, as always, throughout the course of the show, we utilize several different sites for our paranormal entertainment. And as such, I can only ask that you guys will support those sites. Whatever sites I name, they are wonderful sites. They're working hard. They're doing exceptional jobs posting information, updating, and keeping it current and relevant. And I just can't endorse these sites enough. So please visit them, because your traffic equals revenue for them, because they have ads and stuff. And every visit, they get something. So that's one way to help them keep the lights on. So please definitely follow and check out these sites, because there's so much more on every one of them than I could ever cover. And they're exceptionally well done, and those people are working hard, and they need your help. So check them out. All right, the first site up on the news is a site that we always use on the news because it's just incredibly well done. And this is, actually I have another piece of news that I thought was really cool, but we'll get into that in some point during the newscast if I don't forget, or at least through the show. This is unexplained-mysteries.com. Here we go. And this is news from Mr. Luis Elizondo from the UFO Phenomena Files of Unexplained-Mysteries. UFO whistleblowers are being threatened, claims Luis Elizondo. Now, I know he goes by Luis, and, that's fine, but I've known Hispanic people that call themselves Luis. And so I don't know which one is better for Lou or whatever. But at any rate, let's get into this. Of course, Luis Elizondo used to work with the AATIP or whatever, the investigative arm of the government checking into the UFO phenomena. So the former head of the Pentagon UFO investigation unit has claimed that whistleblowers like him aren't safe. Yeah, that's the tough part about coming out with information they want to keep hidden, is they get really crabby when people talk about it. And sometimes those people are met with unfortunate results, And I'm not chuckling because it's funny, but I was actually thinking of Hillary Clinton and just my mind there. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of controversy around people that have reported or whistleblown on the Clintons and then ended up in car accidents or other unfortunate events. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to stir the pot and create controversy here, but it's kind of creepy. I don't know. There's some people that have a lot of vested interest in maintaining their power, and that can be information as well. And so certainly, if there is some covert things going on, they don't like people talking about it, and they tend to use extreme measures to make sure you don't. So I don't disagree with Lou. I think that anybody that comes forward is really kind of taking their fate in their hands, in a sense. It can be dangerous speaking out about what the U.S. government has been up to behind the scenes, as Luis Elizondo discovered for himself after resigning from the Pentagon's secretive Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, or ATIP, back in 2017. Recently, he revealed that there had been threats against him, as well as several other whistleblowers formerly associated with the UAP effort for the U.S. government. Speaking on the Good Trouble show back in May, he wanted to make it clear that if anything suspicious happened to him, people would know who's responsible. I would like to make this perfectly clear to the American people, he said. I am not prone to accidents. I am not prone to self-harm. I'm not abusing drugs, and I'm not engaged in any illicit activities. If something happens to me or my family members in the future, you will know what happened. Another prominent figure who has spoken out about this issue is Representative Tim Burchett, a firm proponent of UFO disclosure, who also happens to be a friend of Elizondo. There is whistleblower protection, but it's a joke. As we know, it's a joke, he told Fox News. Well, that's not real encouraging for any future whistleblowers. It's like, hey, we'll get you in the protection program. It's like, yeah, they set up a card table in the corner there, and that's the protection program. Lou is a dear friend of mine, and I will take any threat against anybody seriously, especially against friends and somebody that has given so much to this country and to this issue. So I'm very much aware of it, and I'm very much alarmed. I'm pursuing every avenue I can to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, I don't think that's anything new. There's certainly been, Bob Lazar kind of did the right thing. He just went right to public. He didn't whistle around in the shadows at all and risk his well-being. Oh, my computer fan just kicked on. I'm like, God, that's loud. This old computer, tell you what, folks, she's been grinding away for years here on the Paranormal Portal, and I'm not easy on it at all. But she's obviously cooling off a little bit. All right, so that's the first article, and yeah, I think that is very true. I mean, if you're a whistleblower, be careful if you got something to report. I mean, hell, look at Boeing. Like, what is it? 2 or 3 engineers came out and like, yeah, there's lots of problems here, and then suddenly they just no longer are with us. And I don't know. That's kind of some scary, sketchy stuff. Is it all nefarious? No, I don't think all of it is, but could some of it be? Sure. Absolutely. And that's frightening that people are that motivated to go to any measures possible to keep the narrative what they want it to be. That's absolutely terrifying. Can you guys hear that fan? It's just woo. Like I got to take the case outside and blow out all the dust raccoons in there. They're not even dust bunnies. They're like raccoons in there. So that's the first article tonight. And my hat goes off to anybody that's trying to do the right thing and come forward and say, hey, this is going on and it's not right. I mean, that's an incredibly brave thing to do. I just really hope and pray that they're very careful and that they, watch their back, or at least have people around them that can help watch their back. So I wonder who is doing the threatening. The DOD, the CIA, the AFOSI, Air Force Office of Special Investigations, Lockheed Martin, Boeing. Any thoughts, Brent? I don't know, Android. I mean, it could be any or all of the above. I think this is a whole network of people in many different facets of all of these things you mentioned that are very interested in keeping the lid on this stuff. So I don't think it's any one thing. I think it's probably some network of individuals in all of them that are working together. I don't think it's any one entity. And I'm kind of speaking out of my rear here because I really don't know enough to know, but that's my intuition on it, is that, this is I don't think it's just one thing. I just think it's whatever's going on. These people seem to be able to move a lot of levers and a lot of dials in a lot of different parts of our world in order to, cause people to be silent. And, I mean, certainly the CIA, I suppose, could do it, but yeah, I think it's just a collective group, core group of some kind that is probably pretty diverse in many different parts of those entities you just mentioned. So, it's pretty creepy stuff. Now, this isn't the conspiracy portal, so again, I can't know anything. I'm an idiot with a microphone here. So, but I think we all kind of have our suspicions. So anyway, let's get to the next one. Hi, Lane. Good to see ya. Lyndon Honey. Who's Lyndon? Who's Lyndon and why are you calling him Lyndon Honey? I don't know if that's a name. What is Lyndon Honey? I just saw Rachel say Lyndon Honey. I'm like, what? What's going on here? I'm getting a little jelly here now. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's get to the next article. This one is also from unexplained-mysteries.com. And hopefully it's a good one. This one, actually, it's kind of funny that I did the Homer. It's kind of funny I did the Homer and Simpson impression, because this one kind of plays into that. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking about the next article, which comes from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is Marge Simpson found on coffin of Egyptian high priest's daughter. Look at, there she is. Oh, homie. Oh, Marge. There it is. She's right there, folks. She's found painted on the lid of a high priest's daughter. Unfortunately, didn't look like she had a very long life, which is really tragic. But yeah, how do you like that? The Simpsons again. All of this prediction, and they're everywhere. The Simpsons are everywhere. I wonder if Matt Groening's a wizard or something. Anyway, this depiction of a woman on the lid of a 3,500-year-old Egyptian sarcophagus looks rather familiar. I think so. The coffin, which was originally discovered back in 2023, has been making headlines this week after social media users cottoned on? I never heard that phrase, cottoned on, that the image on the lid looks a lot like Marge Simpson, the blue-haired matriarch of the fictional cartoon family The Simpsons. The resemblance is actually quite uncanny, even down to the green dress. Oh yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah, green dress. Yellow skin and blue hair. Although we don't remember Marge's hair being quite this square shaped. In reality, the coffin is that of Tadi Ist, who is the daughter of an ancient Egyptian high priest. Surrounding the image are depictions of 12 high priestesses representing 12 hours of the day. The coffin was found at Grifa in Tuna al-Jabal, Minya. According to the original press release, also found at the site were amulets, sweets, stone and wooden coffins with mummies, as well as a collection of pottery and wood Ashabti statues. I'm not sure what Ashabti statues are. Archaeologists hailed the finds as some of the most significant in the region in years. And there they go. There they are, folks. But it's Marge. There you have. Whoa, what is that? Science shows what 50 historical figures really look like. Eesh, that's a little creepy. All right. Anyway, there you go. Marge Simpson is actually emblazoned on a Egyptian high priest's daughter's sarcophagus. That's pretty wild. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. So let's, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. So interesting enough. I don't think it's really Marge Simpson, but it's kind of humorous. So we do the absurd here on the show too, as you probably are well aware. Here we go. We are going to the next article on unexplained-mysteries.com, which is, this is a new show. That's right. The UFO Phenomena Files brings us Alien Encounters, Fact or Fiction, launches on Discovery Channel. Well, I wonder if Jonathan Frakes is going to host that one too. Didn't he host the Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction or something? Or maybe it was Ben Hansen. I don't remember. Anyway, the new show, which investigates UFO and paranormal encounters. Wait, paranormal. It says alien encounters. That's not ghostly. Anyway, the new show features Mitch Horowitz and Chrissy Newton. And there have been quite a few new shows covering the UFO phenomenon in recent years, and now another one has debuted on the Discovery Channel, Alien Encounters, Fact or Fiction. Well, as the title suggests, the show focuses on, but doesn't exclusively cover UFO and alien encounters with UFO experts. Yeah, there's that word. Mitch Horowitz and Chrissy Newton investigating the available evidence for each case to determine if a conventional explanation can be found. After listening to each first-hand account, the duo taps into the latest intelligence technology and tools to investigate the reported activity. The press release reads, using recently declassified UFO documents, databases, and more, the pair closely analyzed the visual and physical evidence to separate fact from fiction. They'll then render a final verdict on whether each individual experience has a verifiable explanation or if they believe it to be a real alien encounter. Interesting. The first episode centers on the case of a farming couple from California who believe that they have captured evidence of the afterlife. Well, that's their debut, is an afterlife show. Followed by the case of a geologist who claims to have found an important new piece of evidence at an alleged UFO crash site. As audiences listen to these intimate encounters, they can judge for themselves what they believe before our experts weigh in with the facts. Said network president Howard Lee, it packs the thrill of the unknown with the hunt for evidence while satisfying the thirst for knowledge. Wow, he's got some pretty good words. Let's reread that. It packs the thrill of the unknown with a hunt for evidence while satisfying the thirst for knowledge. Wow. That's just steamy, isn't it? You can check out the trailer for the new show below. Well, there you go. I'm not going to show the trailer. I mean, it's fantastic. I love, all these shows that talk about the weird and unexplained, because I think the more talking about it that we do, the more people are going to investigate and look into it. So there you have it. I'm going to put a link to this. If anybody wants to watch that trailer, you sure can. You hear that fan kick up again? It's getting warm. It's going to be a warm summer here in the Portal studio. I got my regular fan running too under the desk. I was like, nope, I'm not going to have sweaty underwear when I'm done this time. There's nothing much more irritating than having clingy boxer briefs because you've been sweating in them all for 2 hours. So anyway, there you go. That's the new show coming out. Looks interesting. Looks like it might be good, right? So anyway, Love is Alive, the Judds. Awesome. Just came on Pandora. Oh, okay. All right. The Judds. That's the singing group, Naomi and what's her name? Winona. Good to see you, Unknown. Good to have you here. Who else came in? Jessica Mink. Good to see you. Yeah, Swamp Pants. Yeah, I had Swamp Pants for sure, Jess. It was not fun. It's not fun when it's summertime here in the studio. I mean, I'm sitting on like a memory foam thing. It's like in addition to my chair because I'm in this chair a lot. And so it's like, I don't know, it's like a testicle toaster, on this memory foam. It's like, air doesn't move through memory foam at all. So you can imagine the joy going on here. Like, ooh, a lot, sweat, Swamp Pants, yeah. Heather Nicola, good to see you. MST Psych, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. That's a new name. Yeah, no, everybody loves Swamp Pants, right? Still trying to eat. I'm sorry, John, or Unknown, I'm probably making that a little difficult, talking about my testicles, sweating and all, but I'm just here to tell you there's some things that you just can't mitigate. I used to have this chair when I worked in IT that was like a mesh. You'd sit on this mesh, and it was really neat because you never got the sweaty butt, ever. It could be the depths of summer, and you never got that really clingy, sweaty butt cooking. But yeah, that's not what I have here. So I don't know. Those chairs are great, but yeah. Anyway, enough of me going on about my sweaty butt. Yeah. This is what you tune in for, folks. This is the highbrow entertainment that you've been waiting for. Crotch pot cooking. It's not a crock pot, it's a crotch pot. Yeah, maybe I should lay some bacon in there and see what happens. I'm just disturbing myself. No, this is not good. It's not good when you disturb yourself using ice pack. Yeah, that's right. So I'll have swamp ass and frostbit testicles. That'd be great. You can tell it's been a long day. Oh my God. Yeah, no, it always goes nuts eventually, Rachel. I mean, Jesus, we don't always need Don to hit the gutter around here. Sometimes we get there all on our own without Don's influence. It's pretty disturbing. So I'm a little disturbed too. Yeah, me too, actually. And I'm the one that's spouting all the stupid crap. So I almost cussed. I know I cussed a little with ass, but yeah, I almost went deeper into the trash bin there. So I stopped myself short though. So 10 points for self-restraint. That's all I'm saying. There you go. Just a wee bit tired. Aw. Well, I'm glad you're here. Even if you're a wee bit tired. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so that's the news. I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up because I got one more article open. And that way tomorrow I only got to dig up 2. So 2 or 3 or 4. 3 or 4 is generally my news cycle for each live show. So I'm going to save the rest of them, but there you go. I hope you guys took some valuable information from the news and probably some disturbing stuff you won't be able to forget. So you're welcome in any case. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's get back to the rest of the show before this goes further down the drain. All right, let's get to it. hell's meat candy? Jesus. Heather, I like you already. I just met you, but I like you already. I'm just totally laughing here because I was just thinking about Mrs. Portal doing the laundry, coming across some meat, bacon infused underwear. Oh God, I gotta change gears here. Bacon booty, yeah. There you go, for sure. This is the portal. This is what I'm always disturbed. You just along for the ride. Well, there you go. You're on the right bus, I'll tell you that, Heather, because this is all kinds of weirdness. Generally speaking, we're not real sophisticated around here, but that's good. You know, I don't like to put on pretense. It's all right from the cuff. You're getting it all right from the tap, and this is the tap. Sometimes I just don't have a real functional filter. I do work really hard on that because if you guys could hear me when I'm not on the air, it only gets a lot worse. When we marry, we know underwear streaks happen. Oh, geez, yeah. I'm telling you what. I'm not gonna go fudder into that, but I just had a whole bunch of visuals that were turning into words in my head. But I'm gonna shut down that process right now. Fudge stripes, yeah. Jeez. Like a bunch of Keebler elves living in my sphincter. I don't know. See, it happens anyway, even when I try to stop. God. Dang it, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. This is just going bad. This is just going so bad. Good Lord. All right. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. Just stop. All right. There we go. This is so bad. This might be the worst news cycle I've ever done. Oh, God. Sheldon, come save your dad, please. Please, Sheldon. All right. Well, you know what? There's lots more. All right. Think seriously here for a minute. My mascara's running. I'm crying. Yeah, John, I don't know if I ever had it to lose it, but yeah, gotta come reel this in. It is a unique cycle. It's like, I can't, I was going to do it again. I almost started again. Oh, man. You guys have no idea the things that I got to filter out that I can't say. Or I guess I could, because there's a lot of channels out there that just, you know, they'll throw everything out on the table. And I could say so much, but yeah, there's so many cracks that need plugging. I need a putty knife full of spackling. But I choose not to. I try to keep the show as family friendly as I can. And sometimes I actually manage to do that, but other times I fail miserably. Yeah. Okay. Miss Fleshrot, the sticky hands you get from the quarter machines. Yeah, this Missouri heat got you acting like one of those hands is slinking down a sticky window. Yeah. Oh, yeah, those things are great, those little sticky hands. Minion gets those every once in a while, and they're just a lot of fun. You'd be walking through the house and just like this jelly hand slaps you in the face. It's like, oh, yeah, good, a good one. All right, so anyway, we're going to get to the other article I was talking about in terms of, the current news again. Oh, there was the other news article. I was going to show you this. This was some footage, actually, that was captured, apparently. And this is coming from a website called enigmalabs.io. Now, this was apparently captured with a Psionics night vision. I think it's a monocle, but it might be a full set. But anyway, the Psionics are a real popular new night vision tool that people are using. They include full color, in a lot of cases, if there is color. But this one is apparently a cigar-shaped craft that was captured, and it's pretty freaking interesting. So we're going to look at that right now because I think it's a pretty good capture. This was just sent to me by an old friend, Mr. Jim Mount, who's very active in the UFO community. He's been on the show years ago and talked about his experiences seeing orbs and things like that. UFO orbs, not necessarily spirit orbs, but this is some footage, and it's from June 5th of this year. And it says, I guess it's coming from Belgrade, Montana, in the United States. It actually gives the actual address, which is, I don't know if that's good or not. But anyway, it looked like a blur with the naked eye. The video was taken with a Psionics night vision. I think they spelled Psionics wrong, but I might be wrong. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to put it up on screen. Let me get the production software up here so I can see if I've got it framed right. Here it is. Is there a way to make this bigger? It looks like there is. Okay. So this is actually the cigar-shaped craft, and it really is pretty compelling. You know, a lot of times when you're looking at night sky shots, it's like, well, is that maybe a piece of debris or something like that? But you'll see on this one that it's clearly in the distance. So let's check this out and get your take on it, ladies and gentlemen, because I think this is a really cool capture. But this is a cigar-shaped craft. And oddly enough, it was like in the 70s and early 80s, there was lots of cigar-shaped craft sightings. And then they just kind of seemed to have largely gone away. It was like all you heard about was cigar-shaped craft. And then it's always been something else. But apparently they're still here. And here it is. So let's play it and let you guys take a look. There it is. Now, keep your eye on this because you kind of can look at it and go, well, could that be some anomaly that's much closer? But you'll see as the clouds become more a part of the sky, there, it's going behind that cloud. So I don't know. I don't have the root file itself, but could it be faked? Sure, it certainly could be. But that is really pretty convincing. I think, it looks genuine. A lot of what I look at when I'm looking at video is the pixelization consistent through the whole screen? A lot of times when things are superimposed or layered, you can see distinct differences in the pixelization. But this does look really consistent with the lighting and of the stars in the background and stuff. So, and the way that the cloud is very much a part of the visual field of this event is very well done. Could it be fake? Sure. But it would take a considerable amount of work to make this look convincing. And if they did a really terrific job, but you can see it just fades out there. So, and picked up some weird stuff in the sky. Yeah, I've got the night vision binoculars I got. Pretty much any night I go out and look at the sky, I'll see things way up in the atmosphere that I can't recognize doing crisscross patterns like X patterns and things. It's really powerful. So I think this is really incredible footage, and thank you, Jim, for sending that to us. Again, this is from enigma.abs.io is the website, enigma.abs.io. I wasn't familiar with this site prior to this, but this is a hell of a capture. Again, cigar-shaped kind of craft. And it definitely looks like it belongs in this field, like it wasn't some CGI or some other kind of mock-up, that it was just as it was captured. I mean, the pixels get bigger when they're really zoomed in. That's really consistent. And then when they zoom out, they stay in scale with the entire screen. So, I mean, that's an important feature when you're examining these things, is looking at the resolution. Is it consistent? Does it get a little, as you zoom in, does it get more sketchy? And then as you zoom out, does it get more smooth? Well, sure it does. I think this is great. But the way it goes behind the clouds was a big win for me. Like, yeah, that looks good. So there you go. Starling looks like a bunch of dots in a straight line. Oh, yeah. Oh, Starlink? Do you mean Starlink? Yeah. Starlink does look like a bunch of dots. Sure. Okay. So the question was, could it be Starlink? And yeah, you definitely see individual, especially when you're zooming in, you would see individual lights making up a shape, but it does look like this is one continuous object that's in a definitive cigar type shape, or at least cylindrical. Does it look like it gets bulbous a bit? I don't know. Well, different. The light intensity certainly goes down when it goes behind the cloud. So that means whatever's still outside of the cloud looks bigger, like the light is not being interrupted by the cloud. So, I mean, it looks bigger here now as it passes behind the cloud. It does look distinctly smaller, but that's because it doesn't have any light, or possibly sunlight could be reflecting off of it being high up in the upper atmosphere. It's hard to know what time of night this was, but interesting. So
I have thoughts too.
Do you? Are you seeing it?
Yes.
Okay, what's your thought?
Here's I mean, if it was Starlink, and hi everybody, I'm sorry. If it was Starlink, especially with how far it is, and it's in the very, very upper atmosphere, if not in space, I'm actually not 100% on that. Wouldn't that have to be like dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens to be that like thick and long of a line from that far away?
Sure. I mean, it would have to be a significant number of Starlink satellites, because I don't think they're very big. Those are pretty tiny. And it's hard to know how high up this is. Could be self-illuminated, could be, just above the clouds. I mean, it's hard to know. But at any rate, if it's Starlink, it's going to be just outside of or at least in the most upper layers of the atmosphere. And this could be much closer. It's hard to say. Now, interestingly, I'd like to point...
Here's the thing that did...
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you first.
Well, okay, I'll go first. So, whenever it's going, I'm seeing if I can see it again. Keep it playing. When it's going behind that cloud,
at
some points it almost does look like there's a bit of separation in the lights.
Well, I think that has more to do with the cloud layer than anything, the density of the cloud, because clouds are thicker and thinner. I mean, they're not consistent.
Oh, you're right. I see it now. Yeah, I do see it now. Okay.
So,
yep.
So I think that's the case.
Debunked.
I would like to point out, look at the night sky when you can see the bigger picture, especially before it's zoomed in. You see all these extra lights. These are things you don't see with your naked eye that are showing up in the night vision. This is what I'm talking about when you're looking at through night vision at the night sky. You'll see so many more lights. And this is what I'm talking about. You just look at how many, I mean, you can't recognize constellations. At least I can't when I'm looking at this. And not like I know many of them anyway. I just know the dippers for the most part. But I mean, look at how many extra lights there are in the night sky here. And that's what I find fascinating. I mean, just the different patterns of stars that are much more distant, probably red stars, which aren't seen with our naked eyes. The red light just isn't perceivable as much by our eyes. God, I got a mosquito bite in the back of my calf. Little bastards. Little bastards. Got me right on there. Yep. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I don't know. I think this is a really good video. So special thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. And yeah, that's pretty spectacular. That's a great capture. So again, this is from enigmalabs.io. And if anybody's, I guess they got a merch store, shop UFO merch. So they got a lot of stuff over there. I've not looked at this site before, but I really like this capture. This is pretty great. I guess it's got an iOS app. He also sent this, which I thought was interesting, and I'll pull this over as well. This is, I guess, their app for Enigma Labs. And I don't know. I've not looked at this. I literally received this just prior to going on doing the live show. He sent it through Facebook. But it's the UFO UAP sightings map. And apparently you can click on any of these dots and catch the footage that's been captured, or at least a narrative explaining it. So I don't know if it's designed for iPad. I'll have to get this. I don't know if it's a purchase. Oh, it's free. That's even better. That's my favorite price. Free. So I think I'm going to download that. Where's my... Where is my iPad? I don't know. Oh, it's right here. I think I'll download it quick and take a look at this. What do you think, Sheldon?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think it'd be kind of cool to like be able to see settings and have maybe even more information on it.
Yeah, actually, and oddly enough, I left my iPad on, so I've got 20% battery left. Let me do this. Let me just pull it up and just see, because I'm really... Oh, no, I can't. Never mind. I can't do it right now, because my Apple ID thing is all screwed up, and I got to reset all that junk. So, never mind. I'll do it another time, but I will definitely keep this tab open and pull this app down. I would, check it out. Enigma, UFO, and UAP sightings. I'm sure it's probably available for iPhone too. Sure it is. There's a screenshot for the iPhone. That's what it looks like for the iPhone. Yeah. So, yeah, cool stuff. And I mean, it seems like a great repository for some pretty cool sightings, if I'm understanding this app. So, might as well check that out as well. As long as we're at it, right? Am I right, Sheldon?
Oh, that's right. Yes. Rachel had a no, actually, Annie had a question.
Okay. What was it?
I don't see it, so I'm going to read Rachel's. Interesting question about what could be its velocity relative to the frame speed.
It's hard to say because we don't know how far up it is. There's no gauging the altitude. It could be in the upper atmosphere. It could be just above the clouds. It could be on the cloud layer, and that's a considerable distance difference to calculate speed. You have to really have a really good approximation for distance from the observer, and then be able to figure out what is the field of vision, how quickly does it move through it. It doesn't look like it's flying, like screaming through. It looks like it's just kind of cruising. But if it's in the upper atmosphere, then it's actually going extraordinarily fast. It's just hard to tell how big is it. I mean, if it's way up there and it's that big, that's a huge craft. That's like nearly a mothership, But again, it's hard to tell. So I wouldn't be able to approximate any distance on it for sure, or any speed, just because that's a lot of math that I'm not qualified for. That is a lot of stars.
That's the thing that did catch me. I mean, yeah, because as big and thick of a line as that is, I mean, if that is one singular ship, that's got to be a huge ship.
Yeah, yeah. I will say that, if it's been recorded off of psionics, I'm sure it's probably at about usually about 24 frames a second for night vision. I don't think it maybe goes up to 30, but it's never going to be, like a high-speed camera on a consumer model. You'd probably need to get into military kind of models for that to get like 60 plus frames a second, 60 or 120. But yeah, I don't think the frame rate on those kind of cameras would be extraordinarily high. But it's, again, our eyes see about 24 or 24 frames per second, I think is about the equivalent to what we see with our own eyes. Huh?
That can't be.
Well, Google it. What is the equivalent frames per second our eyes observe, or something like that? Is it possible to post the site? Yeah, I can post it here. I'll post the I guess it's from Apple, apps.apple.com, for any of you that have iPhones. I don't know if there's an Android equivalent. There might be. No pun intended, Android. But I'll post it in the chats. You guys can check it out if you so choose. It seems pretty interesting. This is the iPhone and go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead. I have the answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. A maximum of 60 to 90 hertz is often reported, but under the right conditions, test subjects were able to perceive up to 500 hertz.
Hertz.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right. I read it. Between 30 and 60 frames per second. Okay. Although experts find it difficult to agree on a precise number, the general consensus is that the human eye frames per second for most individuals is between 30 and 60 frames per second. So I guess it is up to 30. Okay. And for most of us, maybe there's ninjas that can see in 60. I'm not sure how that works. Or if you're a power.
Yeah. What determines like?
I don't know. Maybe it's a
determines how fast I can see.
visual acuity, practice. Maybe, like you think about it, like a really skilled martial artist can do things, block things that are hardly visible. Trained fighters can dodge punches. And maybe that's where the higher frames per second comes in, just through, utilizing those skills and needing that extra visual acuity to see things coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't have enough brain cells for this conversation, Maggie says. You do too, Maggie. You got more than you need. You're only using about 10 to 15% of it, so you got a bunch on standby. Ninjas, haha. Wizard. I don't have enough. Well, I don't know if I have enough to be doing the show either, but here we are.
Yeah.
I don't have enough to be speaking with any kind of authority on anything, but here we are. At any rate. All right, so that was that little sneak peek. Thank you, Jim, for sending those things over. That was really cool. I appreciate it. The footage is really cool. I was really surprised by that. You don't really see generally really convincing UFO stuff very often. There's a lot of it out there. I'm just not so sure that it's all organic and real. That's the problem. But this one looks pretty convincing. So, all right, we're going to get to that article I promised, that kind of carries on to the whole, hey, there's aliens living among us. They might be under the ocean. They might be in the earth, but they're here. And I don't know. There's been a claim for a long time that there are aliens living among us. Hell, they might be right next door to you. You might even know some of them. I swear I've met some. I always wonder that when you're walking, and you're being friendly and nice, and generally people, oh, hello, hi, people will smile, acknowledge you and stuff. And then there's the other people that are just like, they walk right by. They're just like, just on a beeline, and they just,
yeah.
They don't have any time for you. And it's like, I wonder if that's a human being. It's not a very human reaction. So I always consider those the aliens, but I could be wrong. All right, so here we go. We're going to go to an article from Hows and Wise, and this is an incredible site compiled largely by, and maybe exclusively by, Vicky Verma, who is a really incredible guy that's been documenting the UAPs, UFO phenomena for years, and controversies surrounding them. And if you're not already checking out Hows and Wise, definitely check it out. I mean, he's got ancient alien stuff on there, archaeology, UAP phenomena, science, technology, entertainment, health, and lifestyle. I mean, this is a big site, and it's very, very well done. So this is an article from 2 years ago from Vicky Verma. It was last updated April 15th of 2023 at 9:17 p.m., as a matter of fact. And so let's check out this article. This man from the U.S. Army claims 57 alien species similar to humans are walking among people. Oof. Isn't that kind of cool, though? What do you think of that, Sheldon?
I hope that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of neat.
I think that's really cool.
But it's also kind of screwed up. I'll get into that in a while. But let's read the article first. In the world of UFO research, the name of retired Army Sergeant Clifford Stone is nearly a legend. Stone claimed to have been serving for 22 years as a decorated Vietnam combat veteran. From 1968 to 1990, he was part of a secret elite group that was assigned to recover the crashed UFO or ET parts, alien bodies, and artifacts. Besides, he said that intelligent life had been visiting our planet in highly advanced crafts that are capable of covering many light years in less time, which is beyond modern human knowledge. Initially, he was assigned to the NBC team, Nuclear, Biological, and Chemical Retrieval, and Abatement Detail at Fort McClellan Army Post in Alabama, and did some regular assignments until he was called for retrieval duties. He was reportedly out for a week when the Army required him for UFO retrievals. And what is more, his Army service record was manipulated and excluded all of his UFO recovery activities, showing him as a typist. So his record says he was typing. That was it. But he has a different story. To support his claims, Stone cleverly disclosed the existence of classified projects such as Moondust and Blue Fly that had been created to hide the UFO debris by using Freedom of Information Acts. Ooh, diabolical. For example, in retrieving an Air Force intelligence letter known as the Betts Memo in 1961, Sergeant Stone was able to reveal to the general public evidence that Project Moondust involved a potential for employment of qualified field intelligence personnel on a quick reaction basis to recover, or perform field exploration of unidentified flying objects. There is a source here. Stone's catalogs in UFOs are real documents he had been able to retrieve by Freedom of Information Act even during his years of military service. Consequently, Stone's pioneering documentary research into UFO crash retrievals is strong support for his testimony of actually having served on such teams during his military service. There's other links to definitely check out. Stone claimed in his old interviews that during his military service, he was monitored by an individual whose rank he was never told, but whom he called Colonel. The Colonel was present at UFO retrieval relocations and led debriefing sessions of Stone. He noted that the Colonel allowed him to read a 3-inch thick notebook manual that contained information on 57 types of extraterrestrial biological entities, or EBs, known to the military. And he said that many species looked like humans, but their eyes were slightly larger. I've seen them on Instagram, or it's a filter, I'm not sure which. Slightly larger and had a black iris. According to him, extraterrestrial species contacted only through telepathy and could even read minds. In 1973, Stone was involved in the retrieval of a crashed UFO. He hid a small metallic piece of UFO in his shoe and buried it near his property in New Mexico, Nevada, after his retirement in 1989. He said, "Yes, I have it, and wouldn't dare keep it in the house. I had it here to show some people where I kept it. A day longer than I should have, and then somebody actually came here and tried to take it. That was some tense moments. I almost shot somebody that day." On May 9th, 2001, over 20 military intelligence, government, corporate, and scientific witnesses came forward at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. to establish the reality of UFOs, or extraterrestrial vehicles, extraterrestrial life forms, and the resulting advanced energy propulsion technologies as part of the Disclosure Project. Sergeant Stone publicly revealed his story and was willing to testify before Congress if they asked him. Below is a transcript of Sergeant Stone's part in the Disclosure Program, and they do have a link for the full video. I'll put this the article link in the chats if you guys want to watch his full presentation. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clifford Stone. I was Sergeant First Class of the United States Army. I had a secret clearance with nuclear surety. It says surety. And I could get clearance that I needed to do whatever was necessary for me to do at the time on special operations when I was called in on those. What I'm referring to here is that I was involved in situations where we actually did recoveries of crashed saucers. There were bodies involved with some of these crashes, and also some were alive. While we were doing all this, we were telling the American public that there was nothing to it. We were telling the world there was nothing to it. I'd like to go into detail of some of the cases about the nuts and bolts cases right here. But I will be available if you have any questions concerning my involvement in this, if you talk to Dr. Greer, of course, Stephen Greer, to arrange for me to get to talk to you. But the whole situation is we have setback. We've told the American people that there's no such things as UFOs. I've been involved where we've recovered these objects, and we know them to be of extraterrestrial origin. I might have improv that last line, but it's the gist of it. In 1969, I had an event that happened to me while I was stationed at Fort Lee, Virginia. We went to Indiantown Gap, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. That would be my first exposure to any time that we would be recovering an unidentified flying object. We went there. We already had people that were in the facility with a backup team, which was supposed to be NBC because they were supposed to be some nuclear materials that were on board this craft. Later on, most of the people involved were told that there was nothing on board. It was nothing more than to crash at one of our aircraft. I know better because I was one of the people that approached it with a Geiger counter to get surface readings. I was the first person to go ahead and see that there were bodies on it. That would be the first of approximately 12 events. UFO crashes are not events that take place every day. They're rare. I know we're not alone in the universe. I know that the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. It's evidence that has been denied to the American people. I stand before you today with my almighty God, and I tell you this. If the Congress calls me in and says, will you testify in detail what you know, I stand here today prepared and ready to do just that. Governments must never lie to the people for no reason. Thank you. Wow. That's pretty cool. Italo-American I'm sorry, what?
I agreed with you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Do we have a delay between us? Is that what's going on?
I am lagging a little bit. Your voice drops in and out. I think it's on my end.
I think so too. Yeah. Okay. Italo-American photojournalist and UFO researcher Paola Harris wrote in her book, Eyes Only, the story of Clifford Stone and UFO crash retrievals about his childhood ET friend named Corona, who looked like a human and was with Stone to understand human emotions. Further, she talked about Stone's alien encounter in Vietnam, where he helped aliens to escape from military custody as he cared for the rights of extraterrestrials who visit the Earth. That's kind of bizarre. Sergeant Clifford Stone claimed that he had been good at communicating with the ETs, found at the crash sites or in an encounter with his military team. Once his team fired a bullet at an ET, but they deflected it with some advanced technology. He also mentioned the teleport technologies of ETs, when he found himself hundreds of feet from his initial position. Stone also claimed that there are many alien groups that visit our solar system and Earth as well, but when humans learned how to detect their craft, they limit their visits but did not stop. He had no intention to benefit from his claims and evidence and no desire to gain publicity. His only desire was to let the U.S. citizens know the truth about the UFOs and extraterrestrial hypotheses. That these are interplanetary spacecraft. Sergeant Stone, age 72, passed away peacefully at his home on February 10th, 2021. Yeah, that's kind of sad that, all of his experiences are now gone, or at least hopefully they were all recorded. I wonder whatever happened to that material that he buried. Wonder if it's still out there somewhere.
Hopefully.
Yeah, or at least somebody has it. I wonder whatever came of that. Maybe he did eventually turn it in or something. I don't know. But that's pretty incredible stuff. There you go. So
we'll never see it.
Yeah, I mean, I know, right? That's pretty crazy. But at any rate, that's the benefit of these stories. I mean, if he had never told his stories, we would never know. I guess it's a good thing that people do come forward and, state their claims, state their experiences. And hopefully we all glean the benefit of that. Right, Sheldon?
That's right.
Hopefully
I'm live for it.
Yeah, hopefully. But there you go. That was that article. I think it's interesting. Now, here's the part that I kind of have a problem with. Are you ready, Sheldon?
Yes.
Here's my problem. My problem is that I think about this, and here's the big hang up I have with this, is that if these individuals are here, and I guess I believe they are, I just think it's gotta be almost immoral to be able to do things to help people, and maybe they do it in a more covert way. I guess I'm just speaking in generalities here, but let's say you have this super advanced knowledge. Let's say you're walking around with this syringe in your pocket that will cure any horrible disease, anything. And you walk along the street and you come across all these people that are just, debilitatingly crippled up from some disease or malady and something. And in your pocket you have exactly what would make it okay for them to go on and be healthy and potentially happy. I mean, happiness is a choice, but to live a normal life. But you don't. You just keep it in your pocket and you just look at them and then walk by. And that's my problem with this, is that if they're here and they are in a position to do such extraordinary things and help really move the needle along, and it doesn't have to be a big public display, but if they would really focus their energies on, on helping people, and maybe they do, maybe I just don't understand the game plan here, but it just seems like, if, like, let's say you are in some extraordinarily impoverished country where people are starving to death, and it was one of the things that really pissed me off back when you'd see those videos of like Sally Struthers walking through these camps of these people that are just starving.
Oh,
and here she is. She's about 2.5 bills. I mean, she's a big woman. She's obviously not starving.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's walking through there talking about how important it is to help. But, she had probably had a cooler of sandwiches back in her tent, and she could have been handing those out. Like, you know what? I'll be fine for a while. You guys eat this. You need it more than me. But, it's kind of that thing. That's where I have a problem with it. It's like, oh, you guys are, in a position. You're right there. You're right there. At least do something. And maybe it's just a sandwich, but it could be enough to get them to their next meal, whereas if they don't get that, they're not going to make it, I don't know. It's me, but
yeah.
I think if you have the ability to help, then there should be some kind of universal requirement that you do, and I don't know. Again, I've heard this. Well, it's kind of like Star Trek, the prime directive, don't get involved. But it's like, yeah, but that's BS, because historically, if the ancient alien stories are true, they were extraordinarily involved. They helped to create this. They helped to teach us potentially the sciences, teaching us maybe forms of organization and government or whatever. And who knows how much influence they had on the development of people. But they were clearly, according to those theories, very actively involved. And then it's kind of like, well, we're just going to piss off now and see how you do. It's like, oh, they brought us up to the racetrack just to watch us, trip and fall. And it's like, I don't know. There are people who claim. What's that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying maybe something happened those thousands of years ago that they just stopped.
Yeah, maybe. And like George
decided we need to take care of ourselves.
Well, and there is merit in that. I mean, there is merit of letting people figure it out, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but how could anybody, with a normal intelligence, even normal or super normal intelligence, watch a child starve and do nothing? I mean, I couldn't. I'd be like, nope, I'm breaking the rules. I can't do this. I can't watch this. I can't watch, I have a hard time watching something in a spider's web, for God's sakes. And I love spiders, but it's still like, oh, God, that thing just wants to live, And maybe I'm an idiot, but that's probably the case. But I just think with compassion, it kind of overrules that, and there's an opportunity. But Maggie says, Paranormal Portal, there are people who claim to have been healed by aliens, UFO things. I can't remember details right now. No, I agree. I mean, it does happen. That's wonderful. I just don't know why it doesn't happen more. And maybe they can't. I don't know. I don't understand. That's the big thing.
It could be those are the ones who were like you, couldn't do it.
Yeah, maybe they're breaking the rules too. I don't know. Android Paranormal says, Paranormal Portal, some say that if they just gave us stuff like free energy, then the wealthy elites would use it in their favor and charge for it. So they feel we have to evolve as a society on our own. Well, there is that, but there also, I mean, you know, we utilize
Shirt.
What does it say? Shirt. You like my shirt? Is that what it says? Or maybe it's Sheldon's shirt. I don't know. I got the zombie glow in the dark shirt on. This is given to me
yours is cooler. Yeah.
by Barry Anderson, who was on a podcast guest. He sent it out to me. He's an amazing artist. He also did the zombie sign behind my head back over here.
Oh.
So yeah, he's a very talented guy. But you know, here's the thing: is that we've always had these governing bodies. So I mean, we're already not allowed to to develop on our own. We always have these authorities placed over us, and so I think if they were going to do that, if they were going to say, hey, look, you know, we can heal all your illnesses and many of them anyway. I mean, you know, life happens or whatever, and accidents happen, but you know, we can help heal a lot of these things that are, you know, horrible. And they could also be a part of making sure they weren't abused as well. You know, they could facilitate it. You know, they could not give it to someone to, you know, here, give this to your people. they could stay in control of it. But like Maggie said, maybe they do it more covertly. And maybe there is something to the old idea that there's treaties involved with technological exchange for, you know, free reign to, you know, do what they want. I don't know. I just don't know. But that's my hang up. It's like, you know, if they're here, how could you watch something suffer and die, knowing you could change that? You could change it with no effort. Just in a heartbeat, you could change it and make it okay. You know, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It's the same for wars or anything.
I am on board.
Yeah.
I am on board with your way of thinking. Like I would be the same exact way if I was a powerful being to whatever degree. Like, nah, this isn't gonna happen. No, I don't care. This isn't gonna happen.
Sure.
And I'm gonna do something, but there's got to be a reason. I mean, I can't think of. I mean, why else wouldn't they? There's got to be like a reason.
Sure. Android says, Paranormal Portal giving free energy to us is like giving a gorilla a cell phone. They won't be responsible with it and will break it. Well, you know, for certain, there's a lot of motivations in our governing bodies to use everything as, you know, potential weaponry. But I mean, honestly, if free energy was just available, it's like with Stephen Greer, he's like, you know, if we get this sorted, the only route forward is just to make it freely available. You know, not patent it, not anything, just freely available. Put the information out there. Everybody has it. Everybody could do it. But for most of us, it would be, hey, I can now save, you know, $200 a month because I don't have to pay an electricity bill. You know, because I'm already using energy. It's just, is it energy that's being controlled and monetized, or is it freely available? So if it's, a lot of people theorize that a lot of
dish.
A dish. Maybe we need a dish for free energy. Maybe it beams it in. I don't know. But I'm not sure where the ghost box is going with this. But at any rate, a lot of people theorize that it would be like the size of a small refrigerator, just this box that would sit outside of your house, much like an air conditioning unit. And that would be the energy, you know, so it would remove the need for you know, lines and maintenance and power issues during storms and people losing power and unable to heat and cool their homes. You know, I mean, there's just so much benefit if it was just something that was freely available and just available at the push of a button. We already have electricity, and whether or not we have to pay for it, I guess, is the big question. But the version we have now, we definitely have to pay for. So I think the biggest thing would that people would have a little more disposable income. I mean, it's not going to solve the world's problems, but it's going to certainly create a balance of living. If everybody in the world could have free energy, then it would create a balance that you wouldn't have places where, you know, my kids would like to study at night, but we don't have enough lamp oil. And I can't afford to burn lamps all night for them to read or learn or, you know, internets or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm spiderwebbing off, but, you know, my original point was they certainly could make life better in a hurry, but they choose not to. or at least it appears they choose not to. Maybe I'm just not aware, and maybe we're not just aware. But I am heartened by those stories, Maggie, of people having those kind of benefits. We have free energy ability. It's being withheld. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, Heather. And that's certainly what I've heard as well. I mean, I don't pretend to know. I'm just reading stuff that I find on the internet, but I certainly believe that it's possible. I think that the technology is probably very much possible. It's just, yeah. I mean, there's too many controlling parties that are, very interested in keeping those utility bills coming because that's part of the power structure. Unfortunately, again, protecting power is a very big thing. Nikola Tesla had that tech, but kept it secret as it could be a source of great evil in the wrong hands. Yeah, certainly everything can be. Your fork in the kitchen can be a source of great evil. But generally, we just eat with them, Your car could be a weapon of mass destruction, if you drive it into a crowd of people. But generally, we just go to the store and take care of our business. So, yeah, there's always going to be, douchebags out there that are going to, brutalize and misuse things. But, generally speaking, everything can be a weapon, even water, obviously you can drown people or desalinate them if you put too much into a body and that'll kill them. There's everything. Prime directive. Yeah. Prime directive is what a lot of people say. And there is merit to that. There is merit to us figuring out our own problems, but the rub is that they obviously were it seems they were very involved in our development early on. So obviously they took a vested interest in seeing us come out of caves and into civilizations. But then it seems like it stopped. It's like, what happened? What happened? Yeah. We were on a roll here. So I don't know. Greed is a problem. It sure is. Yeah. I think we're just a young civilization. We need to learn before we can garnish such leaps in science. Yeah, unfortunately, the leaps in science are coming on our own, but, in many cases, we're not ready for those either. So it wasn't really kept secret by him. It was the government and his boss. Yeah, that was, what was that, Edison and J.P. Morgan, for Tesla. It's already a big deal with solar. Electric customers not using solar are being increased on their bills to compensate. Yeah, that's the thing. When the demand goes down, the prices go up for the people that do need it. Yeah, I have solar power at my camp, and it works great. Yeah, I think solar's a great idea. That's awesome. Yeah. So anyway, just some thoughts. That's my rub on this. If they're here, they should pitch in a little more. They should help out a little more. It's kind of like having a haunting. If you have a haunting, just try to get one that'll drag around a vacuum every once in a while. That'd be great, rather than, hey, I'm going to move the lamp. Okay, great. That's not what I need. But if you want to dust, that'll help. If you're going to be here, make yourself useful. So anyway.
It's something I've actually wondered about. Also, how do I sound? Because you were cutting out really bad. Am I sounding okay?
Yeah, you're sounding seamless here. I've seen the camera jump a few times from your feed, but it's definitely on your end. Probably should restart your router, but
I will probably. We only got like 30 minutes. Probably after the show, I will. But yeah. I don't know. It's a thought I had while you were talking about this. I'm like, the one thing that ghosts and aliens have in common is that they happen, but they're rare occurrences, both of them. Like, as far as people's experiences with them, it's considered a rare occurrence, even though for some people it might be more common. But in any case, I wondered if, maybe aliens are so advanced that they're able to tap into the spiritual, and they know the same thing, that they have to stay away. They have to let us do our thing. I don't know. It was a thought.
Yeah, it could be. That could be their rationale, and I can't pretend to know. It's just, again, I'm just thinking, all I can do is just kind of, put myself in that position, like my story of having a syringe that could cure any illness, and then just walking through crowds with people that are absolutely in agony and suffering and doing nothing. It's like, God, you could stop that. It'd be like, if for Christians, if Jesus came down and was just like, yeah, You suck, you bunch of sinners. I'm heading over here. I mean, it's just like, Popular Mechanics Magazine has a special issue on UFOs. Yeah, I think everybody does. I have thoughts about that too, Sheldon. Yeah, I'm sure you do, Android. Yeah, I mean,
nice.
Yeah, it's all on the table. Certainly put your thoughts in the chat if you guys want. I mean, the portal is always a discussion. This is always a discussion about this stuff. And again, I don't know. I mean, I could be way off base. And all of you could disagree with me. It's just what I think about. It's like, God, if you can do something, you probably should. I just think that's the right way. It's any time that I can't say every time, but most times when I've been in a position and I observe somebody that could use some help and I had the ability to help them, I would do something. Even if I came across a homeless person and only had $5 in my pocket, that was all I had, I would give them the $5. I've done that many times just because, I was in a position. Here I am, with a roof over my head and my needs being met for the most part. And life is still a struggle, but I'm not struggling like that. And I can maybe help now a little bit, so I don't know, it's just me. It's my own psychology, but it's why I close the shows, be good, be kind, help each other out. I really think that we need to do that. And maybe that's part of our growth, that, maybe this is what we're learning, is that we have to act and help and pitch in and be there for each other. But I don't know. Satori is the daughter of Jason Hawes. Yeah, I know who Satori is. I don't know her, but yeah.
Satori and Cody.
Yeah, they do this tapping thing. Yeah, which is really interesting. Look up Satori and Cody. They channel spirits better than anyone. I've seen the spirits refuse to answer certain questions. They said they're not able to answer certain questions. Yeah, there does seem to be rules, which is weird. Heather says, I love our discussions, especially when we verve left.
Yeah.
Well, there's certainly that. Absolutely.
We veer everywhere.
Yeah, we're like bumper cars up in here, Heather. Absolutely. Okay, Justin Gooderth, I've been working on hydroelectric power using 2 aquaponic ponds and a ram pump to grow food and produce energy at the same time. Man, dude, you are so smart, Justin. Jesus. I don't know what goes on in your head, man, but that is a pretty cool place. I just like the way his head works. I've talked to Justin several times, and that guy's like scary smart. He's like one of those really super smart people. He comes across as the most ordinary, everyday guy. But if you get him talking about stuff like geology, anything, I mean, the guy is just boom. He's dialed. Should have been a scientist, brother. Or maybe you are. Maybe you're like one of those backyard guys that's going to end up figuring out the warp drive or something.
Hey, maybe an accidental discovery. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's guys like Justin that'll do it. That's for sure. All right, come on over. I have a guest rooms, no drinking and driving. Well, Elaine's inviting people over. I'm on the way. I'm just saying. Okay, well, let's get to the cryptids while we still got some time. We don't have a lot of time. There's one story I wanted to cover. We're going to probably start right with... Justin is kind of a MacGyver. He really is. We're going to start. Justin saves the world. Maybe. You might save the world, Justin. I believe in you.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you. All right, so we're going to head over to the cryptid corner now because we're burning the clock quick, Sheldon.
Oh my God, sorry, like 20 minutes now. What happened to those 10 minutes?
I don't know. It's a time anomaly here in the portal. But we always got the time for the cryptids, know what I'm saying?
That's right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cryptid Corner here on the Paranormal Portal, where we dive into the creatures and weirdness of cryptozoology. And oftentimes we talk about Bigfoots and stuff. And by God, that's where we're going to start tonight, because I want to talk about some Bigfoot reports out of East Tennessee in the Appalachian Mountains. This is a shout out to my cousin Paul out there. He's at work but listening in, and we're We're going to dive into those. Where is it? There it is. No, that's not it. This is it. There it is. And we're actually going to start tonight with a fantastic site that we use very commonly here on the show. Special thanks to Lon Strickler for giving his blessing. And this is phantomsandmonsters.com, ladies and gentlemen. And Phantoms and Monsters is an incredible site full of literally thousands of encounter reports, people bumping into ghosts, ghouls, creatures, cryptids, and you name it. And there's some amazing stories over there that people have reported to Lon that he's dug up on his own. It's also some great research efforts. Lon has several published books you can find information about on his site, phantomsandmonsters.com, and including information about his podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And that's here on YouTube as well. So look for Phantoms and Monsters Radio on YouTube. And you'll find out more. But this story is from June 17th. Pretty new. Bigfoot encounter reports from East Tennessee's Appalachian Mountains. That's what I'm talking about. There's all kinds of Bigfoot stuff going on over there. All right. The story starts. I received 2 Bigfoot encounter reports from different eyewitnesses who live in the Appalachian Mountains of eastern Tennessee. I received the following accounts. This is the first one. I grew up in the Appalachian Mountains, completely rural, in a Tennessee Valley community. My house was surrounded by forests and mountains. When I was about 14, my dad started to hear strange sounds coming from the hills behind our house. Knocking sounds as if something was hitting a tree, and the occasional inhuman yell. My dog was a rough and tough outside boy. He was very drawn to those hills at random times. His ears would shoot up and he'd quickly run to the forest and then stay for a while. Him going up into the hills wasn't uncommon, but at the time, he started acting particularly suspicious about them. And don't worry, nothing bad happens to him in the story. Well, anyway, the noises started to become more frequent. My brother and his friend used to hunt for ginseng up in the hills, and they heard the noises too. Much louder, of course, since they were near the source. One day, the noises wouldn't stop. They progressed louder and louder, and there was growling. My brother was pretty much sick of it by now and wanted to know what the heck was up there after about a year of wondering. It's evening time, and it's about to get dark, so he takes a flashlight and a shotgun and heads up into the hills. Well, he sees a creature that looks like what he said could be a Sasquatch. It was tall, with broad shoulders, wider than his torso. And he saw its silhouette because of the darkness that came. Well, he chased it off, came back to the house and told me what happened, and drew a sketch of what it looked like. The noise had stopped after that day, and they never came back. Oh, and a couple weeks later, a new Bigfoot special came on TV, a witness sketch of an alleged Bigfoot that looked almost identical to the one my brother made. To this day, we're still convinced Bigfoot lived there. That was by someone named V, or going by the initial V. Mm-hmm. Next one. I grew up in the southern Appalachians, in the Crab Orchard Mountains in Tennessee, to be precise. My much older brother and his best friend saw a Bigfoot in the 60s while camping in the Obed River. No guessing about it. And I always believed him. A buddy and I were back there in the 2000s, early 2000s, late January. We're camping and riding ATVs, and it's staying around -8 degrees Fahrenheit that night. God, that's cold for Tennessee. And we're back at the camp, warming around the fire, quietly talking, and all of a sudden, the most ear-piercing, bellowing shriek of a sort that I never heard anywhere on this planet. It had the volume of an elephant, it seemed. It moved around our campsite in the dark, staying out of the glow of the campfire. And Jerry shined his big flashlight all around, and we didn't see anything. But it screamed at us another 3 times. And then we heard what sounded like a damn moose running through the woods. Now, there weren't any moose around there, let me tell you. Well, Jerry and I kept our handguns handy just for a couple more hours, talking about what just happened. And I asked him, "You know what it had to be, don't you?" And he said the words, but to this day, he doesn't even like to talk about it with me. It changed his perception of what was out in those woods, though. Before that, he was with Mr. Nothing Scares Me. He doesn't even go into the boonies anymore, anywhere near as much as he did before that night. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Well, you know what I'm saying. It's the truth. Signed, G. Like, geez. Jeez. If I'm lying, I'm dying. If I'm lying, I'm dying.
Do you think it's a pride thing for people like that? That, you know, because we've read a bunch of these stories where it's like, no, he doesn't like talking about it anymore. It's like, is it a pride thing, do you think? Why do they just stop talking about it? Like, that's an amazing thing and crazy thing that happened to them.
I just think a lot of people just don't know how to process it, you know? They don't know what to do with it. It's like they just saw or experienced something that just wasn't supposed to be. And not being able to reconcile it, I think, or wrap your head around it, just be like, it just becomes like, nope, I'm just not thinking about it anymore. I don't want to even know. I just going to go about my life, and I'm not going to acknowledge that anymore. And I think for a lot of people experiencing something horrifying, that's the case. And, you know, I'm not meaning to draw parallels, but a lot of times veterans, you know, they'll come back and never want to talk about what happened, you know, and it's because they saw things that they just can't deal with. And so they shut it off. Right. And it's a conscious choice, but I just think that in a lot of cases, these stories are very much as traumatic. In a lot of cases, I mean, there's been many Bigfoot reports of people who were combat veterans, and they're like, I've been shot at, I've been in all-out war, and you know, and had people shooting at me, and you know, running for my life, and that was plenty scary. But what happened was so much worse. And then they go on to talk about these weird cryptid encounters or horrifying cryptid encounters, and I mean, it's a different level, I guess. But yeah, I think it's
actually makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a soldier in a war zone, it's kind of equal ground. You both are equipped to take, you know, I mean, in a sense, take care of each other in some ways. But when you're dealing with Bigfoot or multiple, you're powerless. There's nothing you can do. I mean, if they want you gone, you're gone. You know. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it would be like being hunted by the predator from the movies. You know, it's like, even though they had all the gear and stuff, they were like, we're no match for this. It's just going to walk through us like butter. And I think I mean, it's got to be emasculating as hell, you know, especially for people that are Mr. Fear Nothing. You know, I mean, I ain't afraid of nothing. But except that, whatever the hell that was, I'm afraid of that. Yeah. You know, fear is a tough thing. It's a tough place to be and to live. Now, I don't think that, generally speaking, Bigfoot mean to be terrifying. I think that, generally speaking, they're just making themselves known. It's just that they're really loud about it, and they're really huge and scary, you know, at least from our perspective. I mean, we become vulnerable and like children, you know, once you're confronted with something that's so much more powerful, you know.
And Eric, I'm not saying they can't be. I'm not saying they're invincible or anything, but it's more just like, you know, if they want to fold you in half like a sandwich, they can make you a sandwich, you know.
Yeah, they'll roll you up into a burrito. You know, I mean, really, they're just that much stronger. If they can twist, you know, full-grown tree branches, you know, into spirals, you know, they can break every bone in your body. And, you know, they could powder you, you know, pound you into pudding. So, I mean, there's just such a disparity, you know, it's just not even, you know, not even, on the same playing field. It's like having a kindergarten soccer team go up against, you know, some, professional league.
Oh my God.
You know, I mean, really, it's like about the same thing. You know, those kids are going to play all their heart out, but you know, these adults are just going to walk all over them. Well, that's like, you know, it's like the physical disparity between us and what these things are. I mean, we are literally like toddlers, you know, in strength and in speed, agility, and able to, you know, navigate the terrain. They could just, you know, run up and down us, and there's not much we could do. I mean, granted, you know, they see a gun and they seem to recognize what guns are and don't like them. And they usually do disappear if you brandish a firearm or shoot a shot off. But, you know, it doesn't mean they're going to stop completely, but they're going to get away. So they obviously have not. You have not run away. Well, that's brave. That's brave. Wonder if we're talking to a Sasquatch.
I'm not scared of that.
It might be a Sasquatch. He said, I'm not. Or it says have not. Have not run away. Well, I mean, good for you if you're brave enough to stand in the face of a barrel of a gun. I would run. I'm outie. Yep. If there's cryptids, we're all evil, there would be no humans left. Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's stories of kill squads going out there and clearing out cryptids, and I don't know if they're true or not. I imagine they can be found, and possibly the powers that shouldn't be probably have the technology to find them and possibly eradicate them. But they can die, but they are certainly much more capable in the wilds than we are by a long shot. So
Yeah.
it's like a person trying to outswim a dolphin or something. It's like kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
We are clumsy and slow in the natural order of things. We're just north of turtle, and even then, turtles will outswim a person. So I don't know. Craziness. All of it's craziness. Anyway, interesting stuff. But that's the two reports from Tennessee, from the eastern Tennessee Appalachian Mountains. So there you go, Cousin Paul. Be careful up in them there hills, brother, because you ain't alone. All right. Yeah, he actually has he's got quite a bit of weirdness around his house. He sent me trail cam shots, which I've featured here on the show, and we'll have to go through those all because of, he keeps, every time something new weird comes up, he sends them to me, and it's like, wow. Yeah, he got this full like apparition torso of a spirit walking up his driveway on trail cam.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh my God. That's just incredible. So, the reason a lot of Vietnam vets had PTSD is, yes, they'd seen and done terrible things, but they were bullied and booed when they came back, but also not allowed to discuss anything. Yeah. Yeah, there's no question, man. The Vietnam vets, I mean, they didn't go by choice. They didn't even get a choice. They were made to go, and then they were come back and treated like villains. What a horrible situation. I mean, they'd already been through hell. And then to come back and just be jeered and, spit on, and, it's like, oh my God, I understand being anti-war and that whole sentiment. Of course, it'd be nice if wars didn't happen, but you don't blame the people that were forced to do it. They didn't get a choice. It's either they fought or they died. I mean, that was it. But then to treat them like they were the villains. I mean, there's some of them maybe were. Some horrible things probably happened, but that's war. Horrible things happen in war. But you don't blame the veterans. I mean, they're just doing their best to stay alive and come back home. So that's an ugly thing.
That's why whenever I see a Vietnam vet, best thing I've heard to say is welcome home, because they weren't generally given that. Yeah.
I was watching a video the other day of a guy breaking down in tears because he said it took all the way until the Gulf War ended, and he would see the banner above a highway as he was driving. It said, "Welcome home, vets," and he just started crying because it was like finally the vets were welcome home, So it's a heartbreaker that those guys endured so much just because they were forced to do something they didn't want to do. So, Yep, there you go. Yeah, that's true. Heather says, just because it's an unknown doesn't mean we need to kill everything. Yeah, absolutely not. And that's not something I advocate through the course of the shows either, is like, I don't advocate killing these things at all. I think, there probably isn't a ton of them out there. And whatever breeding populations are there need to be protected, not eradicated. So I'm with you, Heather, on that for sure. My stepfather was a Vietnam vet. He had a short fuse kind of guy. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure that if he didn't have it before Vietnam, he probably had it after Vietnam. I don't know if he was a short fuse kind of guy before that, but man, I can't imagine the hell that those guys went through. And I've seen the movies, and you try to understand, and even the movies and and all their graphic detail can't bring you into that experience and let you experience the horror that they lived through. So, Absolutely. Hey, bad boy, good to see you. Marstall, my brother, was in Vietnam. They were told not to wear their uniforms. Oh.
Oh God, yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, I imagine. Last Wednesday, I was sitting here on the couch and the TV was on, and that was the only light. And I looked into the kitchen, and I swear I seen something, and not from the corner of my eye. Well, wouldn't surprise me, unknown. You're always looking into the unknown. Well, sometimes the unknown's going to show up. I really think that's true. I think that that's very true. If you go looking for something, then very possibly it's going to find you. You know,
He said, "I seen it dead on, went from floor to ceiling."
that's very big. Yeah.
Ooh.
I think in terms of spiritual stuff, though, the size is relative. I think they can appear huge, or they can appear tiny. They can appear like a little ball, or they could appear like a big Bigfoot sized thing if they want to. I mean, they just can appear however. Maybe just in case you're in a bookstore, there's a feral family above the title, an author named Jack Ketchum. The off season is one.
Oh yeah. They were talking about. They were wondering if there were any feral people.
Oh, sure. Well, there's been stories of feral people. Kids, there was a kid apparently raised by wolves. I mean, like literally. And I don't remember what country it was, but he was brought in and I guess domesticated, so to speak. But yeah, it was like a shadow figure. Yeah, I doesn't surprise me, unknown. I mean, again, if you're poking into the darkness long enough, the darkness finally notices. I mean, literally, I don't know how else to say it. There's an old occult belief, and again, occult doesn't necessarily mean devil and in evil. So please, if anybody out there is hearing the word occult and goes, "Oh, that's that evil dark stuff," it just means hidden. The word literally means hidden, but there's a lot of practices that are encompassed in the occult world. But there's a theory in some magical practices called magnetism, and you hear some of it in what is that self-help thing, the truth or the something, I forget what it's called now, but it's basically a bunch of rehashed old ancient ideas of how to manifest your life and stuff. I can't remember what it's called again, but
Right.
at any rate, it's called magnetism. And the idea behind magnetism, that is, if it's kind of like manifesting. If you want something, you have to energize yourself to draw it to you. And so in the cases of all of this stuff, I think that if we energize these things to us, that creates some kind of maybe a quantum entanglement of sorts and draws them to us. And there's other practices in the spirit worlds, I guess, and especially in demonology, that just saying a name of a demon can summon it to you. So I don't know if that's true or not, but it kind of harkens back to like Harry Potter and not mentioning the word Voldemort.
Yeah.
Because that was the he who must not be named. And so maybe that's kind of an offshoot of that in a sense. But I'm always seeing things from the corner of my eye like everybody else does, but it happened to look probably just my eyes, but I don't know. Well, I tell you what, unknown, a lot of hauntings start in the corner of your eyes. You see motion, see shadows moving, and then you look and there's nothing there. But as they progress, then you might be looking and see a shadow move, and then it's like, oh, so
Getting more aggressive.
so just mind your energy is all I can say. Is just make sure you're not drawing in something dark. Make sure that you're keeping yourself protected. I mean, I don't know what you're dealing with. I have no idea, but certainly err on the side of caution, whatever it is. So I won't kill anything that isn't trying to kill me, and then I'm not going to eat. Good point, Justin.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's the way to go. I mean, certainly, we all got to live, and unfortunately, I don't ever imagine myself a vegetarian. So something's got to die in order for me to keep living. That's all I'm saying. I'm just very thankful I don't have to be the one to do that. But anyway, spirit boards versus Ouija boards versus spirit talker apps. No difference except the intents when using the tool. Well, there is differences too, though, Heather. Spirit boards and Ouija boards, generally speaking, the difference is that with both of those, spirit boards and Ouija boards, you are creating a blind channel of yourself. You're inviting something into your energy to work through you to move a planchette.
Yep.
So you are automatically creating an invitation. And 95, 99% of the time, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be just whatever. But just be aware that you don't know what's answering. You don't know what you're channeling. And that's where the danger of Ouija boards comes from, is that, it's generally speaking, a lot of spiritual practices deal with preparing the person for this spiritual practice, protecting themselves, learning to channel that energy, learning to protect the environment around them and to stage the environment around them. There's lots of practices, and a lot of esoteric practices. They deal with meditation and, focusing the mind and learning to really focus the spirit. And, Ouija boards are picked up by anybody. It's like, whoa, ages 8 and up. Well, here, kids, let's see if Grandpa's going to answer. And so they use their body, and they're using their energy as part of the circuit, if you will, to facilitate the communication. But it might not be Grandpa coming through, and you've already green lighted the fact that you're welcoming something to work through you, and that's where I think the intrinsic danger of Ouija boards is. And again, yeah. So, and what is a spirit writing? Spirit writing, automatic writing, I think is kind of the same, in a sense. I think anytime you're asking something to work through you, you are, taking risks. So I would I'm not encouraging people not to use these practices, but I'm encouraging people always to learn how to protect yourself and how to stage your environment and cleanse and clear the environment prior to doing things like this. I think that's the big thing, because you don't know what's talking. And so by cleansing and cleaning the environment, clearing it energetically, spiritually, religiously, whatever means something to you, then you can, more safely do it. And again, I'm not advocating anybody do any of these things, but I'm just saying, if you're going to do it, do your research first, because, I think it's important to be safe. Yeah. So anyway, I never look for family and communication tools. Yeah, that's probably a good thing. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. To each their own. I don't ever want to be preachy. I'm always concerned when people, are blindly reaching into these unknowns, because sometimes there's horrible things that might answer, and that's where the tragedy starts. And, just be careful. That's my takeaway. Who has felt the pressure?
Less caution.
What's that?
Just more caution's better than less caution.
Absolutely. Justin Goodearth, who has felt pressure on the bed like a person or an animal sitting or moving around while you lay there? This happens often to me and my wife. That's really wild. I don't think I've been poked and I've been pushed while I was in bed. I've had a lot of experiences like that through the years, but I don't ever remember something sitting on the bed and feeling the mattress go down. I don't think I've experienced that personally, but I think it's kind of wild, kind of freaky. But I guess if they're just sitting there, as long as they're not, trying to creep into my dreams or something creepy like that, then, whatever. So yes. It's been a fantabulous show, Brent Sheldon. Thanks so much. Aw, thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie.
I had a ghost cat, my Ting Ting, for many years. Aw. Yeah, I think that's sweet. I think our pets do stick with us. It is Nietzsche. What does Nietzsche say, Maggie? I'm not sure what Nietzsche says. What was Maggie talking about, Rachel? I think it's a quote from the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. Beware that when fighting monsters, you do not become a monster. For when you gaze long into the abyss gazes also into you. Oh, yes. Yeah, that's pretty wise stuff. Pretty wise stuff, for sure.
Android asks, did the push feel like a hand?
Could not.
Could not.
Oh.
Oh, it's really talkative tonight.
Yeah.
Could not what? I don't know. It's seemingly random. Thank you for talking with us tonight, Brent and Sheldon. May you have a great rest of your evening, day, relative time of day, everyone. Cats are doing good, Jess. Thank you.
Android asked, did the push feel like a hand?
It was so quick that I didn't register, like a palm and fingers. I just felt this push, and it rolled me over in bed. I was laying on my side. It was actually in Vernal, Utah, after we investigated near Skinwalker Ranch at a property that Jaron and Roman of Supernatural Station's family owns. And we did the flashlight test, did the REM pod, and did some EVP stuff, and got some really cool stuff with the flashlight test especially, and a lot of strange things happened with the REM pod. That thing wouldn't stop screaming up there. It was just going crazy. I actually had to shut it off because it was just like, lights are flashing. Nothing I did would make it stop. And so I was like, okay, I'm just shutting it off. But while we were there, Jaron of Supernatural Station got a push at the property. It's like something just pushed me. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And we ended up, I think, communicating with the spirit. And it was really a fantastic experience. But then, it's 45 minutes back to the hotel. I get back to the hotel, and Don crashed right away. He was out like a light, just sawing logs. He was out hard. And I was laying there. I'm like, okay, well, I'm tired too. It had been a long day at the conference already, then investigating into the night. I was wiped out. So I laid down, was just laying there, and I was on my side with my back to the next bed where Don was. And there's the walkway in between. I'm just laying there, and I'm just starting to get comfortable. And I'm just starting to feel like I'm settling into sleep, and all of a sudden, boom, something rolled me over in bed. I was instantly pissed. I was instantly pissed because with me, I don't mind if spirits are around. I really don't. I've never been bothered by that. But once they cross that line, and it's like a contact thing, without my permission, that pissed me off. So I was like furious. And that was the end of the experience. But it was hard enough to me laying on my side in kind of a semi-fetal position to be rolled onto my face. And I was like, oh, and I was cussing like a trucker. I was so mad. I was really mad. It didn't scare me. I swear on everything that's holy. It did not scare me, but I was furious because it's like, wow, that's a boundary there. Oh, but it's true story.
Yeah.
True story. So anyway, ghost wife move over. Yeah. Well,
yeah, maybe you were in her bed. Maybe she's trying to get you out of the way.
Move over. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I didn't think about that. I didn't think maybe it was her bed. I didn't know. It was supposed to be an empty hotel room when we got there. So anyway, cool story. But I guess that's the journey, huh? We went right to 9.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
But we did it. I hope if any of you are new to the show, please hit the likes. Please get subscribed if you're not already. We'd love to have you be a part of what we're doing here. It's always an amazing journey here on the portal. And it's even more amazing when a lot of you guys show up. So thank you all for being here and being a part of the journey. Sheldon Thomas, do you got something to share?
I always do. Guys, don't be afraid. Check out paranormalportal.net. Stay up to date with all the new episodes and podcasts when they're going up as well. And also, I gotta say, guys, check out the first episode of season 6 Was Dead.
Yeah.
The interview was great. It was amazing. It was engaging.
With George Norrie?
Yes, George Norrie. Absolutely check it out. It's actually really good.
Oh.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. I'm glad you did. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you listened to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll also put a link in although it is below in the description. Yes. I will put a link in for the Discord so you guys can join us, join the community, join the discussions.
Absolutely. Sheldon's always pretty active over there. And thanks, Sheldon, for all your involvement over there as well. We wouldn't have a Discord if it wasn't for Sheldon. So he made it possible. So thank you for that.
I go on there every day.
Yes, you do. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. I think it's just going to be me tomorrow and me and all of you. So I hope you join me. Again, we do these live shows Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, right here on the Paranormal Portal, wherever you're watching it. Just tune in tomorrow night, same time, and I'll do it all over again. New material, though. I won't repeat this stuff. It'll be new stuff. So that's the benefit of different shows. But anyway, thank you all for being here. Thanks for all your participation in the discussions tonight, everybody. I'm a return chatter. Just been a while. Always love coming here to listen and chat. Well, thank you, Heather. Appreciate that a bunch. It's nice to see you again. I'm sorry I don't remember. I just, I don't remember names well, so my apologies. I thought you were someone new, but I'm glad you're back. I hope you continue to come back. So, thank God. I'll try to eat again. Oh, what happened? Sheldon, can you make the, oh, they want the D-hole sticker in the emoji here.
I don't know how to do that.
I think I have to do that. And I'm sorry, Rachel, I just keep forgetting. I got to dig it up. I don't know. I'm too fragmented. That's my problem. I need assistance. Probably a lot more than I think. Living assistance.
Oh my God.
All right. So anyway, that's going to wrap up the show for tonight. So love the loose cannon spoofs. All right. We're going to wrap it up. Did you forget the news talk? The news talk?
Did you forget to do the news?
No, I did the news.
Oh, okay.
Did you miss it, Unknown? Did you miss the news? I did the news to start out the show, so you have to watch it back from the beginning in case you arrived late or if you missed that somehow. But yeah, we did the news. So thank you, Justin Gooder says, good show. Good to see you. Thank you, Barbara. And good to see you all. And to all of you over on Twitch, thank you for tuning in and hope you guys follow the show there. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Remember, we love you all. The news is funny, Jess said. See, it was actually hilarious. It was worth watching. It was me and my peak of stupidity. So,
no.
Yeah, it was pretty unhinged. Anyway, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow to do it again with you. So I hope you tune in. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. And I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Good
Take care.
night.
Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. All right. Anyway, good night.